Welcome back to Spoiler Free Wrestling, everyone. And I wanted to try something a little bit different with this video. I've been looking for ways to give you a daily breakdown during the week of all the news stories that have gone on in professional wrestling, but omitting the stories which would spoil future storylines, angles, or match results. Yes, storylines and angles are the same thing. Anyway, so that's what this video is going to be. And so we're going to start things off with a story we actually put out a separate video for. It's our top story on the site right now. And this is Cody Runnels has applied to trademark the name Dusty Rhodes. And so this is a pretty significant development. And it comes about 4 days after Cody had filed for two other trademarks, those being the American Dream, the longtime nickname his dad had, and the American Nightmare, which is a nickname he's been using for himself since he left WWE in 2016. Also last week, Arn Anderson applied to trademark his name, and a company which shares a business address with a company Conrad Thompson is president of, applied to trademark the term Four Horsemen. So we go into more detail about this story. We speculate a little bit on what it could mean for AEW, Double or Nothing. What exactly does Cody have planned for these trademarks? Why was there a trademark taken out recently for the Four Horsemen? And why was Conrad Thompson the one applying for that trademark? A lot of unanswered questions, but sometimes unanswered questions in wrestling are fun. Especially something like this, because we know we're going to find out what they plan on doing. Well, actually, maybe we won't find out what they plan on doing eventually. Lots of times trademarks are filed for, obtained, and then forgotten about. So this could mean nothing. Or it could mean Arn Anderson, the Four Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes. These are all names that we'll hear battered around AEW. We'll keep you up to date with everything going on with that. The next big story that was announced today was AJ Styles has signed a new deal with WWE. Not only that, but he adopted an adorable new puppy. And there had been some rumors around from anonymous source-based websites that Styles and WWE had come to an agreement on all the major parts of a new contract, but it had not been made official yet. Styles then took to Twitter to announce not only had he signed the new contract and it was official, but he's officially brought in a new member to his family as well. Now, up on the website at Spoiler Free Wrestling, we've just got a little bit of a background on AJ Styles' championship statistics and how he's done in WWE. We wrote here, in just over 3 years with WWE, AJ Styles has accomplished pretty much as could be expected. He ranks 12th on the list of WWE champions in terms of days spent with that title. He's at 511, and that is already ahead of Hall of Fame names like Shawn Michaels, CM Punk. Well, I guess CM Punk isn't a Hall of Fame name. Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, The Rock, superstar Billy Graham. He's just 9 days behind Macho Man Randy Savage and just 18 days behind Steve Austin as of today, which is March 19th. So when you consider he's only been in WWE for 38 months, that's 3 years and 2 months. AJ Styles has accomplished a lot in WWE, and he's signed a new deal with the company, although we don't know for how many years. That is still kept under wraps. And there is just a look at some of his championship statistics from other promotions. Now, the rumor mill, which we don't want to feed too much into, is stating that there are more issues concerning Styles' former stablemates, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, in terms of their negotiations with WWE. Now, the anonymous source-based websites have said that they turned down a lucrative contract from WWE to re-sign. Carl Anderson then put out a Twitter video where he said, "Don't believe everything you read," which seemingly was saying, hey, there's parts to this report that aren't correct. So that's why we wouldn't run with that story, right? And then the Wrestling Observer put out a report stating that Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows would be waiting until September until making a decision on whether or not they're going to re-sign with WWE or go somewhere else. But then PW Insider is now reporting that Anderson and Gallows have been taken off of the live tour. They're been pulled from all major appearances, and they are speculating that this is due to them having turned down recent contract offers. However, I think it should be noted that there have been plenty of examples of wrestlers having been pulled from live appearances or pulled off the road, and then websites have reported that it's, oh, they're going to get released soon, or oh, they're in heat. I'll give you an example. Well, they're not in heat. Wait, can you be in heat? You have heat. If you're in heat, I believe you're a dog and you wish to fornicate. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. Okay, so anyway, so an example of this is Mike and Maria Kanellis. There had been a report on Pro Wrestling Sheet that they had asked for their release. Maria Kanellis then comes out and goes, no, I didn't ask for my release. And, well, I think she said it a little differently than that, but she said basically, no, that's not true. We haven't asked for our release. And then there was a report, this is in January, that Mike and Maria had been pulled off live events. Seemingly, they're going to be granted their release and gone from the company. Then we don't hear anything for a while. Everybody forgets. We get to the Royal Rumble, and Maria shows up in the Royal Rumble. She does this whole thing with Alicia Fox. That was kind of dumb. And then that's it. And Mike Kanellis is on 205 Live from time to time. There's nothing happened to them. They weren't released. Nothing. So you know what happened? They were pulled from live appearances because Maria had to go rehearse those spots in the Royal Rumble. But everybody reported that they'd been pulled off of live appearances because they had heat for requesting their release. So that could be all this is. And that's why I don't like reporting it. But PW Insider has reported that Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have been pulled from live appearances, and this comes on the heels of reports that they had turned down a lucrative offer. So you can put those two things together if you want and decide there's something there, but that doesn't mean there is. There might be, but there very likely isn't as well. So we don't know what's going on with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. All we know is that the anonymous sources that sometimes give information to PW Insider or some other sites are saying that Anderson and Gallows turned down lucrative contract offers to stay in WWE. And considering the history that those two have with the Young Bucks, I think it could be said that they would be welcomed into AEW's tag team division. They would certainly be welcomed by fans of AEW. So what's going on with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows? We don't know. And we likely might not know for a while. Their contracts are believed to be up in September. If we don't see them on WWE programming between now and September, I think it's safe to say that they're going. But I wouldn't be too quick to read anything at all into the reports that they had been pulled from live appearances. Because too often that's turned out to mean nothing at all. And there's no, like, with the Mike and Maria Kanellis situation, there was no retraction. Like, there was no, hey, they were pulled, we said that they were pulled from live appearances, and it sounded like they were in a bunch of heat, but nobody ever bothered to go out and say, oh, I guess Maria was just rehearsing spots for the Royal Rumble. No one ever bothered. They should have bothered. All right. So is that really just coming from the AJ Styles and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows news? All right. Also in AEW news, they released Being the Elite on Monday, as they do every Mondays. And on this episode, they have like a contest fans can enter. And so several of their executive vice presidents, I believe Cody, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, were the specific executive vice presidents involved in this announcement. The other executive vice presidents of Kenny Omega and Brandy Rhodes. I don't know if they were consulted or not. So the contest is to send in a tape of under 60 seconds of you working a wrestling gimmick of a librarian. So, like, go back to your over the top 1980s, 1990s wrestling gimmicks. Like back when so many WWE superstars had jobs. You know, there was like Duke the Dumpster Drosy, who is a, garbage collector. There was Dr. Isaac Yankem, the dentist. So a librarian. Could a librarian debut in AEW? Could you be that librarian that will debut in AEW? Send in your 60-second videos to at AEW Wrestling's Twitter account. They are already retweeting some entries that they've got in. Some are good, some are, what you might expect, but some are really funny. Actually, I don't know. The ones I looked at were all funny. I imagine there's some bad ones in there. All right, so that's what's going on with AEW and their librarian gimmick. Going to Ring of Honor, Flip Gordon sent out the following tweet today. He saw the doctor, passed all the tests, and is officially cleared to wrestle. And that's good news for him. Just 3 weeks out from Madison Square Garden. Now, in terms of will Flip Gordon be on the Madison Square Garden show, Bully Ray called out someone without naming them on the 17th anniversary pay-per-view on Friday. And he said, like, and you know who I'm talking to, Punk. And I think everybody was supposed to think he was talking to CM Punk, but I don't think anybody. No. But in terms of, could it be Flip Gordon, Bully Ray's longtime rival? Flip Gordon and Bully Ray have been at odds ever since Flip Gordon arrived in Ring of Honor. Flip Gordon's just the kind of wrestler a bully like Bully Ray doesn't like. And they've had some great matches in ROH as part of this feud. And perhaps they are in store to have another one in Madison Square Garden. That's all speculation. I don't know. What we do know is Flip Gordon is going to be medically cleared to compete in Madison Square Garden. Bully Ray has challenged someone for Madison Square Garden. And possibly Flip will answer that challenge. We'll see. So in response to Trevor Brown, former UFC heavyweight competitor Travis Brown, he got involved in Ronda Rousey's segment yesterday on Raw. She picked up Rousey as security was coming to, be upset with her for leaving her armbar on Dana Brooke for too long. And Travis Brown picked her up and whisked her away into the crowd. And WWE has banned Travis Brown as a result. So Ronda Rousey sent out this on Instagram in response to WWE banning her husband. Are they married yet? I don't know. They're close enough if they're not. WWE can fire me whenever they want. I'll gladly go home and live happily ever after with the love of my life, Travis Brown and all their goats. Well, she didn't mention the goats, but it could have been in there. They can't control me with this job. WWE can assign as many security they want to follow me. They can't control me with hired goons. WWE can go ahead and find me however much they want. They can't control me with money. You're all lucky my husband... they are married. Travis Brown was there to stop me when I was just getting started. Now that he's been banned from Raw, your luck has run out. Ooh. And Ronda Rousey posts like a Q&A and sort of an update of every Raw over at rondarousey.com or .net or something at her website. And she also markets her own t-shirts, including right now she's got a Break Kayfabe t-shirt out, which will likely upset Jim Cornette a great deal. Moving on, Adam Cole is going to challenge for the Evolve champion. Kyle O'Reilly is going to challenge for the Evolve title at Evolve 125. And O'Reilly has competed with Evolve before. So they announced some WWE wrestlers on Evolve 125, as well as what we have to assume are some future ones. And so Montez Ford of the Street Profits is going to take on Shane Strickland on that show. Strickland largely assumed to be heading to WWE shortly. And Austin Theory versus Kyle O'Reilly. And let's move on now to Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling, and this is up on the site as well, they reached an agreement with Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was recently purchased by Al Snow. And so Ohio Valley Wrestling will once again serve as a developmental territory for Impact Wrestling, sort of a feeder system. It's had that role for Impact in the past. It was also a feeder system for WWE in the past as well. And so this whole press release is up at the website at spoilerfreewrestling.com. And a few WWE or wrestling personalities have chimed in on news that Baron Corbin will be Kurt Angle's WrestleMania farewell match. Gail Kim pointed out that this was not exactly the greatest choice, and mentioned that she's a big Kurt Angle fan. A little unsettled by, and is it going to be Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin? Is that actually going to be Kurt Angle's last match? That can't actually be Kurt Angle's match, right? And Jim Ross tweeted, underwhelming. So I don't know what's going on there. I can't imagine. I can't imagine Kurt Angle would agree to have his last match be against Baron Corbin. Just all the classic matches that he's been involved in. It doesn't flow to have Baron Corbin be the final person that he wrestles. But we don't know that that's going to be the case. We know it's been announced. And you guys might remember Adam Rose. Of course, he had all the rosebuds in the Exotic Express. And he took to Instagram to announce his retirement from the wonderful world of professional wrestling. He will be fulfilling all dates, but not taking any more. Mainly, thank you to the WWE for letting a 9-year-old South African boy live his dream. Many blessings and so much love to y'all. So, I mean, he unfortunately in 2016, we're living in an age where when reports go out that somebody did something, everybody assumes the worst. And there just appears to be everybody is quick to decide that they know when somebody is a socially abhorrent person, and they're willing to come to that conclusion based on limited information. And that's what happened with Adam Cole. Now, there was, he was arrested and later not charged for domestic violence. Everything was thrown out. And this occurred while he was under wellness policy suspension for taking prescribed medication for an issue. These were not performance-enhancing drugs. He had been prescribed these for a non-athletic reason. He was under a great deal of stress during the time he had made some, he was upset about being suspended, possibly losing his job. There was an incident in his home, and his entire career was taken from him as a result of this one incident. And I don't know Adam Rose. I don't know anybody that's, got these charges under them. I don't know. But I'm not comfortable with somebody's career being gone because based on such limited information. There's something wrong with that. He couldn't get booked on independent shows. I don't know. Adam Rose could be the worst human being on the face of the earth for all I know. I don't know. But I know that I'm not comfortable with wrestlers' careers being ruined based on tiny little bits of information that get out. And I'll use the example of somebody who's in Impact Wrestling right now. A report came out, a police report. Somebody was arrested. I'm not going to use their name. It doesn't make sense to based on what information is available. And everybody on social media decided that this person was a menace to society and shouldn't be allowed in wrestling. The people in this person's life didn't say that. They came out and said, this guy's great. This guy's the nicest guy. And it didn't matter. There is a mob mentality that exists on social media, in wrestling, in everywhere else, where there's something about we feel good if we band together with others and take on another team, another person, somebody we've decided is separate from us, that they're bad, and we can justify doing bad things to them. And it's not right. Social media is not a judge of anything. And issues like the one should be left to the people involved in the situation who have all the information. And if you've got an egg as a profile photo on your Twitter account, or fuck, even if you just have a Twitter account. Whoa. There's an Amber Alert that just went out here in Markham. Damn. Well, perhaps some things are more important. And I'm not saying Adam Rose isn't a terrible person that didn't deserve to get kicked out of wrestling. I obviously don't know that he is or isn't. But the people on Twitter and Facebook and ICQ and Carrier Pigeon and their pagers all trying to say that they know for sure that Adam Rose is a horrible person who doesn't deserve his career, those people are assholes. All right, SmackDown tonight. SmackDown tonight will take place in Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. And the first match that takes place will be Kofi Kingston running the gauntlet. And so what has been announced is that Kofi Kingston will face Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, Cesaro, Sheamus, and Rowan in a gauntlet match. And if Kofi Kingston wins, he will be heading to the main event of WrestleMania. And by main event, we mean just a regular match at WrestleMania, but for the WWE Championship. Actually, the more I'm reading this, making it to the final two and nearly dethroning. Can Kingston defeat 5 of WWE's toughest superstars and earn his place on the grandest stage of them all? Also tonight, The Miz is going to respond to Shane McMahon's dastardly attack from last week after Shane McMahon and The Miz lost a tag team title match to the Usos at Fastlane. Wait, was it at Fastlane that Shane McMahon turned on Miz? It might have been at Fastlane. Yes, he did. Shane McMahon turned on The Miz at Fastlane, and they'll have a discussion about it tonight on SmackDown. Exciting stuff. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bayley and Sasha Banks. I also love that Bayley does those little stars over her, on her forehead now. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Bayley with stars on her forehead. So Sasha Banks and Bayley have made it known that they will defend the Tag Team Championships on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. They've already defended them against Nia Jax and Tamina. They're working an angle on NXT. They were there last week, I think. And this upset the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, who have been a tag team ever since they got into developmental, or been aligned ever since they got to development. Well, before then, they actually went to the same high school together, but they're a few years apart. But Peyton Royce and Billie Kay have been calling out Bayley and Sasha Banks. Bayley and Sasha Banks will be on SmackDown this week, and we'll see what goes on between those two teams. We got What's Next for Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair is the other segment that's been announced for tonight. So really only one match announced for tonight, and everything else is people discussing their feelings. So, all right. What a show coming up at Bankers Life Fieldhouse at Indianapolis, Indiana. Also, coming up tomorrow is the start of the quarterfinals in the New Japan Cup. We have another video up on that. We break down all the quarterfinals of the Elite Eight in the New Japan Cup. The semifinals and the finals will then take place this weekend. All right. Thanks, everybody. If you like this video, please do the clicky like thing on YouTube and share it and do all that fun stuff. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm the Guy from Spoiler Free Wrestling.